You may feel as if the weight of the world is bearing down on your shoulders. The days can seem long, filled with hardship, doubts, and a sense that your efforts are going unnoticed. At times, you may even wonder if it's all worth it. If anyone sees the things you're struggling with, the sleepless nights, the fears, the frustrations, the isolation, you might wonder if you are truly seen. You might feel invisible, as if all that you're going through is lost in the shuffle of the chaos of life. But let me tell you something today, God sees your struggle. And not only does he see it, but he understands it. He understands the pain, the longing, the relentless fight that sometimes feels like it's never going to end. The world may not always acknowledge your hardship, and people may not always see the quiet, unseen battles you're fighting every day, but God does. He knows every tear, every breath, every moment when you thought you couldn't go on, and he cares. Think about it. The world often rewards the loudest, the most visible, the most successful. It celebrates those who are rich in material wealth, those whose names are on billboards, those whose victories are grand in public. But we often forget that the true victories, the most significant victories, are the ones that happen in the quiet moments when no one is watching. The victories are won when you show up, even when everything inside you tells you to quit. They are won when you take that extra step, when you refuse to give up, even when you feel like you've been knocked down over and over again. It's in those moments, those private battles, that your character is forged. And in the quiet of those struggles, God sees you. It's not about how the world views you or your struggles, it's about how you respond to them. Are you going to let them define you? Are you going to let them break you? Or will you rise above them, knowing that every challenge, every trial is an opportunity for you to become stronger, more resilient, more compassionate? It's in your struggle that God sees your potential. Your struggle doesn't diminish you. It refines you. It makes you more of who you are meant to be. It builds your character and strengthens your faith. But here's the thing, God doesn't just see your struggle from a distance. He is not some distant observer who looks down from heaven, detached from your pain. No, he is with you in the struggle. He is walking beside you, feeling every ounce of your pain, your fear, your doubts. He is right there with you in the trenches where the battle is the fiercest. And in those moments when you feel like you're about to break, when you feel as though the weight is too much to bear, he's there, offering his strength to help you carry it. This is not a distant God who doesn't understand. This is a God who knows intimately what it means to suffer, to struggle, to feel abandoned. Jesus himself walked this earth and experienced everything that we go through: the pain, the rejection, the loneliness, the exhaustion. He felt it all. And in his humanity, he knows what it's like to fight against forces beyond our control. He knows what it feels like to be misunderstood, to be judged, to feel betrayed. And through all of it, he never gave up. He never stopped trusting in the Father. He never stopped moving forward, even when the path was hard. And this is the same God who sees your struggle. The same God who walked through the deepest, darkest moments of life, understands your pain, and is right there beside you. His presence is not an abstract idea, it's real. His love is tangible. And he wants you to know that no matter how hard your struggle, no matter how lonely the journey feels, he is with you. He will never leave you, and he will never forsake you. We live in a world where we are constantly bombarded with messages of instant success, overnight achievements, and quick fixes. We see people climbing the ladder of success, seemingly without a hitch, and we start to feel like we're falling behind. We begin to compare ourselves to others, thinking that somehow we failed because our path doesn't look like theirs. We may feel like we're doing all the right things, but we're still stuck in a place of struggle, while others seem to be soaring. But let me remind you that your journey is unique. God has a specific purpose and plan for your life. He has a path for you to walk, and it may not look like anyone else's. Your struggles are not a sign of failure. They are part of the process that will ultimately lead you to the fulfillment of that purpose. Your struggles are shaping you, molding you, refining you into the person you are meant to become. The road may be long and difficult, but every step is bringing you closer to who you are destined to be. Sometimes we wonder why we have to face certain struggles. We ask, why me? Why this? And it's natural to question the difficulties that come our way. But God has a purpose for everything that happens in our lives, even the hardships. He can use the most difficult times to refine our faith, to build our character, to draw us closer to Him. Struggles can be the very things that push us to grow, that force us to trust in Him more deeply. When everything seems out of control, it's an opportunity to let go of our own strength and lean on His. When we're weak, He is strong. You see, in the midst of your struggles, God is shaping you into someone who is more compassionate, more patient, more understanding. He is developing a heart that will be able to empathize with others who are going through similar battles. Your struggles are not in vain. They are preparing you to be a vessel of strength, encouragement, and wisdom to others who will face the same battles you fought and overcome. It's important to remember that you don't have to go through this alone. God sees you, and He's walking with you every step of the way. He's not waiting for you to be perfect before He helps you. He's not waiting for you to get it all together. He is there in the mess, in the struggle, in the pain. He's not surprised by your tears or your doubts. He's not disappointed in you. He loves you just as you are in the midst of your imperfections, in the middle of your struggle. And He will give you the strength you need to keep moving forward. God knows the long hours you put in, the sacrifices you make, the things you've given up to keep going. He knows the silent tears you cry when no one is looking. He sees the effort you put forth, even when you feel like you're running on empty. He sees the strength it takes to keep going when everything inside you tells you to quit. And He's not going to let you go. His love for you is unwavering, unchanging, and unconditional. It's easy to get discouraged when the struggles seem never-ending. It's easy to feel like you're not getting anywhere, that the journey is pointless. But God has a plan for you, and His timing is perfect. It may not make sense now, but He is working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it. He is orchestrating the events of your life in ways that you can't understand. Every struggle, every challenge, every setback is leading you closer to the purpose He has for you. And when you look back on the journey, when you reach the other side of the struggle, you'll see how much you've grown. You'll see how far you've come, how much stronger you've become. You'll see that the struggle was never meant to destroy you, but to build you. It was never meant to break you, but to shape you into someone who is capable of accomplishing things you never thought possible. So in the middle of your struggle, hold on. Don't give up. Keep going. Trust that God sees you, that He understands you, and that He is right there beside you, walking with you through every dark moment and every difficult challenge. He is not going to leave you stranded. He is not going to let you fail. He will see you through to the other side, and He will use every moment of your struggle to prepare you for something greater than you can imagine. Even when no one else notices, God sees and understands your battles. He is deeply aware of the pain, frustrations, and sacrifices you endure, and His presence is with you in every step of your journey. Your struggles are not meant to break you. They are an essential part of your growth. Each challenge you face is an opportunity to build resilience, strengthen your character, and become the person you are meant to be. God is always by your side, walking with you through every hardship. He does not abandon you in your pain, and His love and strength provide the support you need to keep moving forward. You are not invisible. In the moments when life feels like it's pressing down on you, when your steps feel heavier and your heart seems weighed with burdens that no one else seems to notice, there is a truth that remains constant. God sees your struggle. It doesn't matter how alone you may feel, how much pain you may carry silently, or how many times you've had to put on a brave face and pretend that everything is okay. Even in those moments, God is watching. And not just watching from a distance, but deeply and intimately aware of every facet of what you are going through. There's an idea that many of us hold on to, especially when we face challenges, that no one truly sees us or that our efforts go unnoticed. The world can be a place where only the loudest voices or the most visible successes seem to be acknowledged, where people's worth is often measured by their external achievements. It's easy to feel like an unnoticed figure in a vast crowd, struggling in silence, unable to find recognition for the pain, effort, or dedication you're putting into your life. But let's take a moment to realize something deeply powerful. Your struggles, the ones you think no one sees, the ones you face in the quiet of the night, are seen by God. Every tear, every ounce of effort you exert to rise in the face of adversity, every silent cry of your soul, is fully understood by the Creator who formed you, the one who knows you better than anyone else ever could. In a world that often feels indifferent to pain, it's crucial to understand that your pain is never unnoticed by the one who matters most. God sees you when you face the unspoken battles, the struggles that remain hidden from the eyes of the world. He sees when you hold on through sleepless nights, when the weight of worry threatens to crush your spirit, when your heart aches with longing for something better, something more. He understands the moments when you feel abandoned or forgotten, when the loneliness settles in and you wonder if anyone cares. It is in those moments when it feels as though you are carrying a burden too heavy to bear that God draws near, even if you can't feel Him in the moment. The beauty of this truth lies in the fact that God doesn't just see the surface. He doesn't just see the external image you present to the world, the smile you wear, or the persona you've built to protect yourself. God sees the heart. He sees the deeper struggles that no one else knows about. He understands the inner turmoil, the battles that rage in your mind and soul, and more importantly, He doesn't distance Himself from those struggles. He isn't a distant observer who looks on from far away, indifferent to your pain. He is close to you, walking beside you every step of the way. You are never alone in your suffering because He is with you, understanding you more deeply than anyone else ever could. There's a verse in the Bible that beautifully illustrates this truth. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit, Psalm 34:18. This verse paints a picture of a God who doesn't shy away from the brokenness of life, but rather draws near to those who are hurting. He is not afraid of your pain. In fact, He understands it. He isn't disappointed in you for feeling overwhelmed. He is near, ready to comfort, support, and guide you through the rough patches. When you are broken, He is close to you, not as a distant observer, but as a present, loving force that wants to heal and restore what is hurting inside of you. This idea of God's proximity to our pain is essential in understanding that you are never forgotten, no matter how isolated or invisible you may feel. People may not always notice your sacrifices, your struggles, or your inner battles. They might not see how much you're giving, how hard you're working, or how deeply you're yearning for change. But God sees it all. He sees the quiet moments when you're praying, the moments when you're wrestling with doubt, the moments when you're holding yourself together when it seems impossible to do so. He knows every fear you harbor in your heart and every hope you're trying to nurture. God's perspective on your struggle is different from the world's. The world often values what is visible, the outward signs of success, the shiny achievements that can be measured. But God's perspective is much more profound. He sees the hidden work, the unseen effort that goes into persevering, the strength you summon to keep going, even when everything inside you wants to quit. He values your faithfulness in the small things, your consistency, and your ability to rise each day with determination, even when the road ahead seems uncertain. It's not always the grand gestures that matter to God, but the quiet, steadfast steps you take in the midst of hardship. There's also something incredibly important about the fact that God sees your struggle. He cares. He doesn't just passively observe from a distance. He is actively invested in your life. He doesn't stand by and watch you suffer without offering His presence and His help. God is not indifferent to your pain. He is actively working in your life even when you can't see it. He is moving behind the scenes, orchestrating events, aligning circumstances, and working through people in ways that will ultimately lead to your healing, growth, and restoration. While the journey may feel long and the struggle relentless, there is a purpose in it. And God, in His infinite wisdom and love, is guiding you toward that purpose. It's easy to feel discouraged when your efforts aren't recognized, when the world doesn't seem to acknowledge the pain or the effort you're putting in. But here's the truth: God is keeping a record of every struggle. The quiet sacrifices, the long nights, the quiet prayers, the times you've been faithful when no one else was watching, they matter. They are seen by the one who holds all things together, and He will never forget the effort you've put in. In a world that often overlooks those who toil in silence, God is keeping track of your every step, and He will reward your faithfulness in His perfect time. But it's important to also remember that God's timing is not our timing. There may be times when we feel like our struggle is endless, when we're waiting for relief that seems slow to come. But God's timing is perfect. He knows when to step in, when to act, and when to let us continue to grow through our difficulties. The struggle itself is not meaningless. It is part of the journey that is shaping us into the people we are meant to be. God doesn't waste any part of our struggle. He uses it to develop our character, deepen our faith, and refine our souls. Sometimes in the midst of struggle, we become so focused on the pain that we forget the bigger picture. We forget that this season, though difficult, is not the end of the story. God is not just interested in your struggle, He is interested in what your struggle is producing in you. He knows that your struggle is creating perseverance, patience, and a depth of character that will serve you well in the future. While the struggle itself may be hard to endure, it is producing something beautiful in your life that will ultimately reflect His glory. Moreover, God doesn't just see the surface of your life, He sees the bigger picture. He sees how the pieces of your story fit together, how each moment of struggle is part of a greater plan that is being woven with care. In the midst of the pain, it's easy to lose sight of the fact that God has a purpose for it all. He sees the beginning and the end, the past, present, and future, and He is working all things together for your good. Romans 8:28. What might seem like a setback now could be the very thing that sets you up for something greater down the road. God sees the way your struggles are preparing you for the future He has planned for you. And He promises that those struggles are never wasted. When you feel overwhelmed, remember this truth: God sees your struggle. He sees the quiet sacrifices, the moments when you choose faith over fear, the long hours you put into something you care deeply about, the invisible battles you face in your heart and mind. You are never unnoticed by Him. Even if the world doesn't see you, He does. Even if others fail to acknowledge the fight you're in, He is with you every step of the way. He is near to you in your brokenness. He is guiding you through every hardship. And He is working in and through you in ways you cannot always understand. And in the end, He will bring beauty from the ashes of your struggle. Life has a way of shaping us, sometimes through the most difficult and challenging experiences. It's easy to think that when things go wrong, when we face hardships and adversity, it is a sign of failure or that we are somehow on the wrong path. However, the truth is that our struggles, though painful, are often the very things that shape and refine us into the people we are meant to become. Without struggles, we would not experience the growth, resilience, and character development necessary to reach our full potential. It's natural to wish for a life without struggles. We often dream of an existence where everything goes smoothly, where there are no obstacles, and where success is guaranteed without the need for hard work. We want comfort, stability, and ease. But that's not how life works. Struggles are an inevitable part of the human experience. They come in all shapes and sizes, from personal challenges to external circumstances, and from small inconveniences to life-altering events. We cannot avoid them, nor can we wish them away. The question then is not whether we will face struggles, but how we will respond to them and how we allow them to shape us. Struggles are not inherently bad, even though they may feel unbearable at times. In fact, they can be some of the most transformative experiences of our lives. It is through struggle that we often discover our true strength, resilience, and capacity for growth. When we face difficulties, we are forced to look deeper within ourselves to find the strength to keep going even when it feels like everything is falling apart. This process of digging deep and finding inner strength is what shapes us into stronger, more capable individuals. Think about the physical body. When we lift weights, we put stress on our muscles. The muscles break down during the process, but as they rebuild, they become stronger. Without that struggle, the muscles would never grow. The same principle applies to our emotional and spiritual growth. Just as the body needs resistance to grow stronger, Our hearts and minds need struggles to build resilience, develop wisdom, and cultivate compassion. The challenges we face help to refine our character and shape who we are. Without them, we would remain stagnant, unable to realize our full potential. One of the most significant ways struggles shape us is by helping us develop resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back after adversity, to recover from setbacks, and to keep moving forward in the face of difficulties. It is a quality that is cultivated through struggle. When things don't go as planned, when we encounter failure or disappointment, we are forced to adapt and find new ways of approaching the situation. We learn to persevere, to keep trying even when the odds are against us. This resilience becomes a part of who we are, shaping our character and helping us navigate future challenges with greater strength and determination. Through struggles, we also develop a deeper sense of empathy. When we go through hard times, we begin to understand what it feels like to be in pain, to struggle, and to face uncertainty. This understanding allows us to connect with others who are going through similar experiences. We become more compassionate, more willing to offer support and encouragement to those who are struggling. In turn, this empathy strengthens our relationships and helps us create a sense of community. When we can empathize with others, we create bonds that transcend surface-level interactions and foster deeper connections. Furthermore, struggles often teach us important lessons that we would not have learned otherwise. It is easy to become complacent when everything is going well. We can fall into a routine, relying on our comfort zones and avoiding risks or challenges. However, when we face adversity, we are forced to reevaluate our assumptions, beliefs, and priorities. We begin to question what truly matters in life, and we learn to value things that we may have taken for granted before. These lessons may be difficult to learn, but they are often the ones that have the greatest impact on our lives. Struggles also force us to become more adaptable. When life is easy, we may not feel the need to search for meaning or purpose. We may coast through life, doing what is expected of us without questioning if it aligns with our deepest desires. However, when we face challenges, we are often forced to confront the things that matter most to us. We may discover new strengths, talents, and passions that we never knew existed. These revelations can guide us toward a life that is more fulfilling and purposeful. Another important aspect of struggles is that they teach us patience. We live in a fast-paced world where everything is expected to happen quickly and efficiently. We want instant results, and we often become frustrated when things don't happen on our timeline. However, struggles remind us that growth and progress take time. They teach us that things worth achieving often require persistence, effort, and patience. We learn to trust the process and to understand that sometimes the journey itself is just as important as the destination. Struggles can also bring clarity. When everything is going well, it can be easy to become distracted by superficial concerns and to lose sight of what really matters. However, when we face difficulties, we are often forced to strip away the distractions and focus on the things that truly matter. Struggles help us prioritize what is important, whether it's our health, our relationships, or our personal growth. They help us gain clarity about our values and what we want out of life. One of the greatest benefits of struggles is that they help us appreciate success when it comes. Success that is hard-won, that comes after a long period of struggle, is much sweeter than success that is easily achieved. The satisfaction of overcoming obstacles, of persevering through difficult times, makes the end result that much more rewarding. We learn to savor the victories no matter how small, and to recognize the effort that went into achieving them. There is also something deeply humbling about struggle. When we face challenges, we are reminded that we are not invincible. We are not in control of everything. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes things will not go as planned. Struggles remind us of our vulnerability and our need for support. They teach us that we are all human and that it's okay to ask for help when we need it. This humility allows us to grow in ways we might not have otherwise. As we navigate the ups and downs of life, we must remember that struggles are not something to be feared or avoided. They are a natural part of the human experience and when embraced can shape us in ways that nothing else can. Each struggle is an opportunity for growth, for learning, and for becoming more of who we are meant to be. We may not always understand why we are facing certain challenges, but we can trust that they are shaping us for a greater purpose. When we look at our struggles not as obstacles but as opportunities for growth, we can move forward with a sense of hope and purpose. It is through our struggles that we discover our true strength, our capacity for resilience, and the depth of our character. In life, struggles are inevitable. They come in all forms, from emotional pain and mental battles to financial difficulties and relationship challenges. In these moments, it's easy to feel isolated, as if the weight of the world rests solely on our shoulders. The pain we experience often feels so personal, so deep, that we convince ourselves that no one else could possibly understand what we're going through. We may feel abandoned, overwhelmed, and alone, wishing for someone to reach out, to offer a word of encouragement or a listening ear. In these moments of despair, we might question whether anyone truly cares or if we are walking this path alone. But here's the truth: you are never alone in your struggle. Even when the darkness seems overwhelming and the loneliness feels unbearable, there is always someone with you, someone who understands your pain, your sorrow, and your heartache more deeply than anyone else ever could. You are not abandoned, nor are you walking through life isolated from the love and support that you so desperately need. At times, our struggles feel so consuming that it seems like no one around us can understand or relate. People may offer sympathy, but it often doesn't feel enough. We may look around and see others living what seems like perfect, effortless lives, while we are left to grapple with the weight of our difficulties. We may think that our burdens are unique, that no one else has walked the path we're on, and that no one could possibly understand the depth of our struggles. This feeling of being alone in our pain can be incredibly isolating. However, one of the greatest truths of the human experience is that none of us are truly alone in our struggles. Every person faces challenges, though they may look different from our own. We are all carrying something, even if it is not immediately visible to others. And while our pain is personal, it is also shared by humanity. There is a collective understanding that, no matter what our struggles look like, we are all vulnerable and capable of experiencing hardship. But beyond the shared experiences of humanity, there is a deeper truth: God is with you in your struggle. Whether you believe in a higher power or not, the concept of divine presence offers immense comfort in times of difficulty. The notion that you are not walking this path alone, that there is a constant companion beside you, can bring peace in the midst of chaos. God is not a distant, detached observer of your life. He is intimately involved in your journey, walking beside you in every moment of hardship. He sees your pain, He understands your struggles, and He is there to comfort, strengthen, and guide you through each challenge. In the Bible, there are countless verses that remind us that God is always with us, especially in our times of struggle. One of the most comforting passages comes from Isaiah 41:10, which says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This verse reminds us that even when we are afraid, even when we feel like we cannot carry on, God is there to provide strength and support. We are never truly alone because He is always by our side, offering the help we need to endure and persevere. When we're caught in the middle of our struggles, it's easy to become consumed by our own pain and to forget that we are not the only ones going through difficulties. The human experience is universal in many ways. While the specifics of our struggles may differ, the emotions that accompany them are shared by others. Feelings of fear, sadness, frustration, and loneliness are emotions that bind us all together. And through those emotions, we can connect with others who are also experiencing their own battles. There is something incredibly powerful about knowing that we are not alone in our struggles. It's easy to feel like we're the only ones carrying a burden, but when we reach out to others, we often discover that they too have their own hardships. This realization can bring comfort, as it reminds us that we are all human and we are all struggling in some way. Sharing our pain with others not only provides a sense of relief, but also fosters deep connections and empathy. When we open ourselves up to others and allow them to share their struggles with us, we create a support system that can help us navigate through our darkest times. Additionally, it is in our struggles that we often find the deepest growth. When everything is easy, we don't develop the resilience, strength, and character needed to face life's challenges. It's through the hard times, the moments when we feel most alone, that we are shaped and refined into better versions of ourselves. Struggles teach us patience, endurance, and perseverance. They push us to our limits, force us to confront our fears, and challenge us to rise above adversity. It is through these trials that we discover our true strength and our capacity for growth. In the moments when we feel like giving up, it's important to remember that struggle is not a sign of failure. It is a part of the human experience. No one escapes the pain and difficulty of life, no matter how perfect their outward circumstances may seem. Struggle is what makes us human. It's what connects us to each other and to the world around us. It's what drives us to seek help, to lean on others, and to rely on our faith and inner strength. And it's through struggle that we find our true purpose, our true calling, and our true potential. Sometimes our struggles are not just about our personal growth, but about helping others as well. When we endure hardship and come out on the other side stronger and wiser, we are in a position to help others who are going through similar struggles. Our pain becomes a bridge, connecting us to those who are suffering, and our experiences become a source of strength and encouragement for others. We may not understand the reasons for our pain at the time, but when we emerge from it, we can use our story to help others find hope and healing. The struggles we face often equip us to be a source of light in the darkness for others who are going through their own difficult times. It's also important to recognize that while we are never alone in our struggles, we sometimes need to reach out for help. There is no shame in asking for support from others, whether it's friends, family, or professional. We were not meant to carry our burdens alone. In fact, one of the most powerful ways to experience the presence of God in our lives is through the people He sends to help us. Whether it's a friend who listens to us without judgment, a family member who offers encouragement, or a mentor who guides us with wisdom, God often works through others to provide the help we need. Reaching out and allowing others to walk with us through our struggles is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength and courage. There will be times in life when the path ahead seems uncertain, when the struggle seems never-ending, and when we feel like we can't take another step. But in those moments, we must remember that we are not alone. Even when we feel abandoned by the world, God's presence is with us, offering comfort, strength, and guidance. And when we feel like we have nowhere else to turn, we can find solace in knowing that there are others who share our struggles and who are willing to walk beside us. Together, we can face the challenges of life, support one another, and emerge from our struggles stronger, wiser, and more connected to each other. In the end, it is through our struggles that we learn the most about ourselves and the world around us. It is through the hard times that we discover our true strength, our capacity for resilience, and our ability to help others. And it is in the darkest moments that we often find the most profound connection to the people and the world around us. No matter how alone you may feel in your struggle, remember that you are never truly alone. You are surrounded by love, support, and the presence of those who care. The strength you need is already within you, and you are never walking this journey alone.